Hi everyone. Today I would like to discuss unilateral and bilateral promise.
Unilateral promise is given when a party informs another of its resolute intention, undertaking, to act in the future in the interest of the other, with the other having the option to avail itself of the promise. The party undertaking the promise is called the promisor, the party receiving the promise is called the promisee, the beneficiary of the promise, and the action is called the promised action. Bilateral promise refers to the exchange of two back-to-back promises between two parties, each promising to perform an act in the future relating to the same subject matter. Type of promises and the Sharia rules applicable to them is any promise in a loan contract that procures benefit for the lender, over and above the repayment of the debt. Is prohibited by the ver and above the repayment of the debt. Is prohibited by the Sharia even if the promise is granted in a document separate from the loan contract. Type of bilateral promise and the rules applicable to them is bilateral promise to perform an act that is prohibited by the Sharia itself, prohibited, such as a bilateral promise to enter into one or more contracts with the intention to circumvent the prohibition of interest, riba, e.g., a bilateral promise to enter into a sale and repurchase in a contract and a bilateral promise to enter into a sale and a loan. Permissible applications of promises and bilateral promises is the promise given by the client in the murabaha transactions conducted by institutions is legally binding. The promise given by the institution in ijara muntahiyah bitamlik transactions to grant the leased asset to the lessee as a gift conditional on that he pays all the lease installments is legally binding. And the promise given by the institution in diminishing musharaka transactions that it will lease its share of the asset to the other co-owner is legally binding, and the promise given by the client that he will buy units of the institution's share at stipulated intervals are legally binding.
Impermissible applications is enter into back-to-back bilateral promises for the purpose of circumventing the prohibition by Sharia of certain transactions, such as back-to-back derivatives.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.